Guys, how you doing? Happy Sabbath. So today I have a story for you guys, whether you know it or not. Um, I recently went on a trip to Africa, Zambia, Africa. Got to see a lot of cool stuff. Got to do a lot of cool things. But today I want to talk about one of the things that stood out to me the most, and that was the people there. Do I have it? Okay, cool. The kids there, especially, we'll start with them. We went to a lot of schools in Africa, and this is just one of the schools here. Something that stood out to me about, especially the kids there, was how happy they were. These kids, they have nothing compared to what we have. They're poor. The people here, just to put it in perspective, their currency, it's called kwacha. It's 10 kwacha to pay their rent. However, 10 kwacha to them, each kwacha is $16 for us. So that's about $160, I believe, for rent per month. Put that in perspective. And when we went there, because of that, because of how poor they were, the only thing I could say is because they were so happy, the only way I could put that, the reason for that is because of God. Because I can tell you, probably none of us, for sure not me, I know I couldn't be that happy in their situations. Let's go through here. So this is one of the first schools we went to in Zambia. This is, I don't remember the name of it, but this is a soccer field that we were on. We were playing soccer with these kids, and we had a bunch of toys for them. We had little airplanes that we would throw, and you would think that it was like Christmas. It was basically Christmas for them because they never get any toys, so this was their Christmas. So yes, we were playing soccer with them and we were playing tag. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. We were all very tired. It was hot, but it was so fun. It was so worth it, and just to see their face smiling. We have his name in the middle of the gray kind of blue shirt. His name's Dylan. He had a guitar. I think most of them have never had or seen a guitar in their life, so you can imagine how happy they were just to hear that. And they also loved to play with the strings, which was really interesting to see. So if you don't know, if I'm not mistaken, the president for this country is Seventh-day Adventist, which means, obviously, that's a good thing, I guess, if you're Seventh-day Adventist, if you're Christian. It's a good thing for them because their ideals are pretty good. Regarding religion, they're free to do their own religion. And this is the Seventh-day Adventist church here. We saw many of these. This is just one of them. That's the dominant religion there. This is kind of, I'm not sure what this is. It's kind of like a homeless complex, I think. I'm not positive. It looks like up in the back there was a bunch of people kind of hanging out. It seemed like they were living there. Maybe they were selling food. But as you can see, there's not much there. But these people, these are the same people that I was talking about earlier. It's just how happy they are. How many of you guys could say for sure that you would have a smile on your face every day? They always wave to you when you drive past, just because they're so happy to see some new faces. How happy could you be living there? I know, like I said, I could not. Just by the grace of God, maybe. So this is the side of a road on one of the roads we were driving on. Way in the back there's a little village, a little compound that they would obviously live in. They grow their food there. They have some crops. As you can see, on the side of the road, this is just trash. They kind of just throw their trash out the window, and eventually they will burn all of this, and it causes smoke everywhere. And you can smell it everywhere. It's kind of overwhelming. You get used to it, but it's overwhelming. And again, we don't have that problem here. Yeah, we have forest fires every once in a while, but they burn to get away with their trash because they have no space for landfills. So that's how they dispose of their garbage. We have plants that do that for us. So this is a market that we drove through. We had to stop because the driver had to use the restroom. But this is a market, and these ladies here, a lot of them you'll see, I think, oh yeah, there's one. She is breastfeeding right on the side of the road. And that is totally normal for her. And that is also a lot of work for her because she has to sell all of her products, her fruits, vegetables, while she's taking care of this baby, carrying her around all day on her feet. She doesn't get any rest because if she gets rest, she won't sell. She won't get money, and her baby will probably die. So it's a hard life for them. So yeah, they're just selling some fruits there. The shacks in the back is where they store the food, and that's also where they live sometimes if they don't have another house elsewhere. That's where they live on the side of the road. Okay, so this area, this is a chicken. If you can't see, it's a chicken in there. That's on the side of somebody's hut. I wish I had a better picture of the hut itself, but it has a straw roof. Pretty typical what you think of when you think of huts in Africa, but it's a mud brick with plaster that's made out of mud as well. And they take the bricks out of mud and they fire them in a kiln to make them brick. And the straw on the top, it's not waterproof by any means, so if it rains, obviously they're going to get a lot of water inside. But yeah, so their chicken here on the side of the house, this is their source of food, whether it be eggs or maybe when the chicken gets older, they, take care of the chicken that way. So that's what they have to live with. And they also have cattle. I don't know. Oh, yeah. So I'm not sure. Maybe there's a picture of the cattle later on. I'll show it to you, of course. But they have cattle. And these cows, they probably have, this is for like the higher-ups in the lower communities. They have these cows, and they take them around like you would anywhere else to graze pastures and grass and eat the grass and get fat. But these cows, they're very expensive, so a lot of people don't get the chance to own cows. But if you do own cows, it's a lot of food, and it's also a source of income for you. If you want to sell the food, or maybe it's a cow that has milk, you sell the milk. This is so the village and the school with the soccer field. This is on the way to the soccer field. We had to walk about probably a half mile to get to the soccer field from the village. And it was actually very sad because they used to have a school right here on the left. However, they sold the land. The village decided to sell the land. It was a group decision. They decided it was best to get the money than the education for the students. That's their choice. It was unfortunate. I remember 4 years ago when they went there, they said that the school was still there. So that was kind of a sad ordeal for them, because they actually helped build that school, but then they sold the land and now it's gone, which is unfortunate. That actually happens a lot because the problem is they need the money. They feel like they need the money more than they need the education, which we know here maybe short term that's true. You need the money, but the money's going to go away, and you still need education because education is more of a long-term deal, and that'll give these kids the opportunity to go out and live their own lives and be their own success. That's the problem here, is that happens a lot, and that's why a lot of generations, they just do what the generation before them did, because they don't know any better. So that's unfortunate. That's very sad there. This is the same picture that I showed you before, not the same, different picture, but different view, same people. This is the same group of kids that we were playing soccer with. We're doing songs with them. I was doing the songs, but I was taking the pictures right there, so I was not doing the songs then. But we were all doing songs, dancing. They like head, shoulders, knees, and toes. They love that. And Baby Shark. I have all that stuff ingrained in my memory now. It's kind of terrible. Anyways, it was great to see their kind faces, and they're just so happy. Like I said, they're just so happy to see you. Just the simplest things make them so happy. When we would drive up to the places, the bus, we would see them come out of their school or their villages, and they would run up to you, and they'd start waving. They'd start running along the bus, And these kids would I swear they would run for like a half a mile, until you got out of the bus, and then they swarm the bus. And as soon as you get out, they start giving you hugs, giving you like handshakes. They got like really cool handshakes there. They're just so happy just to see you. And then we would get to play with them, and then you would hear their stories, hear what their family's doing. A lot of them, the older ones, I would say, because they said that they teach them English after 3rd grade. So anything after that, they speak English. So most of the kids there, and all the adults speak English. So it's just cool to hear their stories as well. This is the bus that we had. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but there's the cattle in front of the bus. They were kind of just walking through a soccer game. Like they didn't really care, but that's fine. Yeah, the shepherd's back there, or the shepherd, I'm not sure what it's called. The cow guy is behind the bus. And he's leading the bus, or he's leading the cattle. I guess he said, I think that there was the chief said that there's a field. If you just keep going that way, there's a field over there with greener pastures. Obviously, a lot of stuff, they hadn't had rain in like years. They have wells, so water's not a problem, but obviously a lot of the stuff is pretty dead. This is one of the markets we went to buy some souvenirs. It's kind of like the Strip for us. We would never go to this. We don't usually go to the Strip, right? Because we live here. We don't need to. But that's how it is for them too. They don't go to these places because they don't want to get ripped off. We got royally ripped off because we had no idea what we were doing. Yeah, so they have little wooden sculptures, and stone sculptures of elephants, animals that they just have there around. Like we saw an elephant. We weren't even on a safari. We saw an elephant on the side of the road just kind of chilling, eating some lettuce, I think it was. But yeah, they sell a bunch of stuff there. This is how these people make their living. They actually make all this stuff, handmade. It's beautiful artwork, beautiful. I've never seen anything like it, but it's all handmade in the villages, and they take it and they basically contract with the people selling it, and they get a cut, and then we give them money, and they give the money to the villages. And so by this, we're kind of supporting the villages. That's kind of why we went there. Other than the stuff, it's pretty cool. This is the same market from the courtyard kind of area, the outside. These little huts here, that's actually very similar to what they live in, but this is where they were selling their items. Oh yeah, okay. This here is another school that we went to. This school is very interesting. We did a lot here. This is not, the other schools we went to were private schools. This is a public school. And all the public schools there teach religion as well, which is amazing. They don't do that here anymore. But they still do that there, possibly because their president, like I said, is Seventh-day Adventist. I'm not sure if he's pushing that or not, but they are able to teach religion in that school still. This back here is one of the classrooms. It's split in half. Down the middle, it's really nothing. They don't have air conditioning. They don't have anything at these schools. But these schools are a lot of times a home away from home for these kids because honestly, like, this school is probably better than most of their houses. And honestly, like, you can tell when you go there that they feel so at home there. They love just doing things there. They love spending time there. It's not like kids here, they're always like, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school. Well, they like to go to school. They're eager to walk miles on miles every day back and forth to go to school. So that's something else that I noticed, the difference. But we here were playing, it was like a field day kind of. We had like frisbees, jump ropes, stuff that you do on a field day. And that was really fun. We had like a group of like 10 kids each, and we would go around playing the different games. It was pretty cool. Okay, so I brought my camera with me, obviously, and this kid wanted to take a selfie with it. This is super sweet. You have to think like, a lot of these kids, especially in the villages, because, they don't even have glass. They've never even seen their reflection. They've never seen themselves. Most of the time, I don't think they know what they look like, which is kind of crazy. Maybe they have mirrors, but I'm pretty sure the houses that we went into did not have mirrors. They're kind of hard to come by. They're a rare commodity there. So it's just cool because they really like to take pictures with you. And it's very sweet because they are so nice. And they're like, can I get a picture with you? And they don't even care if they get the picture. They just want to see you take a picture with them, which is neat. This is how it started. With there was two of us, and then I was in the back there. And then eventually the other kids, we were kind of watching a show put on by the school, like an assembly. And the kids there were looking at us taking pictures. And they're like, I want to take more pictures. So we took more pictures. And then there's one. And then more. I had a case for my GoPro. And one of the kids had the case and didn't have the GoPro. And he's trying to take a picture with the case. And I was like, that's not going to work. Let's take more pictures. So there we are. There's probably about 8 of us there, I think, and there's more. More of us. Look at the camera. This is afterwards. So after the assembly, we went out because we got a bunch of trees for them before we went there. We picked up a bunch of trees from the nursery. It was kind of down the road, and we purchased these trees so that we could plant these trees in their new field. But they had not dug the holes for the field yet, so we had to dig probably this big around. It's probably a foot deep, about 30 holes, it was hard work. Everybody got blisters on their hands, but it was very rewarding to see because, again, they were so happy for us to do that because they don't have really the manpower to do that. And we got it done in maybe 2-3 hours, which they were very grateful for that. This is after that. However, we were trying to say goodbye, and obviously, of course, they don't want to say goodbye because they love everybody. We wanted to stay. They wanted us to stay, but we could not stay. We had to go to we had to go back to our hotel because our hotel was, or not our hotel, it was a hostel because our hostel was so far away. We took about 4 hours to get there and 4 hours to get back, but we had to go, and then we kind of taught them some of our handshakes because they had some pretty cool handshakes. So this is, his name is Bradley. He's the one on the very left there. He's teaching this little girl there some handshakes. And we said when we come back, we want to see everybody doing these handshakes. So as you can see, even though this is a public school, they still wear their uniforms. And a lot of the times, the families don't have enough money to put them in public school, which is why a lot of the kids don't go to public school. But the ones that do, maybe they barely have enough money to even put them in school because it's not, they're trying to get into free education. They're kind of in between point right now where they're trying to get free education, but they were not having free education before. So some schools have free, but a lot of the public schools that are free have uniforms that you just have to buy, which is even more of a testament to how much these kids want to succeed, because a lot of these kids either raise money for themselves to buy these uniforms, which they're not cheap, or their parents care about them enough to get the uniforms. And the thing is, you have to think oh, I want my kid to go to school. Of course you do. But there, it's either you make money or you go to school. You don't go to school and make money. These kids are usually out helping their parents make money. So if they put their kid in school, they're going to be losing money twice because they're losing money to put the kid in school, and they're losing money because the kid isn't helping them work at home. So I just wish that people here had such a urge to go to school, and it certainly helps me now. I'm going to college, and I notice how grateful I am to be able to go to college and be able to pay for that, because these kids have nothing like that. They probably won't go to school ever, except for these ones here, which are very fortunate to have that opportunity. This is the same group of kids. Again, we're playing the guitar. They like the guitar. And Dylan's trying to save his guitar from breaking because his strings are really tight. But and then, this tree here, or not that, oh, you can't see it. There's a tree over here, and it's a really big tree. It's cool because this tree, they planted it, their ancestors, I guess, planted it, and then, they, have some stuff written on it. How about, they have stuff written on it. I wish I could remember. I wish I took a picture of it. Anyways, okay. So it's hard to see, but right there, one of our girls that came with us was sitting on the floor. They wanted to braid her hair really bad. So they had her braid her hair. All these little kids are all around there braiding her hair, and I mean, even the boys know to braid hair. It's kind of interesting, but I think maybe that's because they don't have anything else to do, which is also something to think about. Sometimes we have too much to do. They don't have anything to do. They braid hair for fun, right? So that was interesting. They even tried to braid Dylan's hair. Dylan, he was like, "Oh, I have long enough hair. Let's try to braid my hair." It wasn't long enough. They were like, "Get out of here." So we left the school, or we left, yeah. Yeah, we left that school. Okay, and then we went to it was like a clinic, like a small hospital. The kids from the school, it was about a mile away, they followed us all the way there because they didn't want to say goodbye. So we went to the clinic, and they were still there. We went to a tour of the clinic. It was kind of like a little ER. They had their COVID area, their like anything you need area. But these kids here, again, these kids are just so happy to see you, and they don't want you to go because they're so happy to see you. And they were hanging on our arms. They were like, "Oh, you're so strong," and then like they would hang on your arms. And this is poor Lance. Lance is not the strongest one, but that's okay. Lance was struggling, but he was having a good time. The kids like it. I mean, they just like to spend time with you, do games with you, do stuff like this, silly stuff like this. Like, I don't think kids they're just so happy. I don't know. This is when we were leaving. I wish I got a picture of it. When we were driving away, you could see out the back window of the bus. I was in the back of the bus. I was looking out the back, and these kids were like running after the bus. And after a while, they just kind of fall back because they realize you're not going to stop again, which is super sad. These kids, it takes like 30 minutes to say goodbye, maybe an hour to say goodbye because they just don't want to say goodbye to you. This is the airport. We had to go to the airport to get to another village. And this village is kind of by where we did the safari, so it's more of a touristy town, but it's still nothing compared to what we have here. This airport here is their private airport, so it's small. Not many planes come through. Yeah, here we go. So they do a lot of gardening here, or a lot of planting, I guess. Not gardening, but they do a lot of trees here, a lot of fruit trees. There's some houses back there, if you can see. So they have two different types of houses, the mud houses, and then they have cinder block houses. Because the cinder block houses, they're trying to get them to use the cinder block houses because it's safer for them. The cinder block doesn't collapse on your head, or it shouldn't. It doesn't dissolve in the rain. And the cinder block is better for heat, and it's easier to make. And when they do the cinder block, it's not polluting anything. When they do the kiln for the mud, it's a lot of toxins in the mud that come up into the air, and that's just adding to the problem with the smoke and burning all their trash and foliage that they have left over. So they're trying to convert to them cinder block instead of their mud bricks. And it's kind of hard because they don't want to do that because it's kind of a culture thing, I think, to use the mud bricks. So I think this is a market. This is a market. I was going to say it's in our school. This is a market. Not like a market like the strip market. This is like the market that they shop at where they get their groceries. They have grocery stores there, but here is a smaller town, no big grocery stores. This is more market. There's some houses in the back. You can't really see, it's like way back there. They have like these little places where most of them have cell phones. Like they might not even have a house, but they probably have a cell phone, which is interesting because you need a cell phone to work, I guess. But they all have cell phones, and they have these little Airtel boxes, and you buy hours in your Airtel box. It's expensive. Again, like long term, they don't think about the long term because when they buy these hours, they're spending more money than they would on a cell phone plan. I'm not sure if they can't get a cell phone plan because it's not offered. But they're spending so much money on the short-term stuff. And again, the short-term with the cell phone plan relates to the short-term in education. They don't think about the education, they think about the short-term of, I want money. So I'm going to sell this to school for money. This is another mom carrying her baby child on the back. This is over the river. that we were over by the safari. So you can see there's a lot of people that live here. That's kind of their income. The safari people going in and buying their goods. This is another part of the village. On the other side of the road, more houses back there. I think the school is just out of the camera. You can't really see it. I'm pretty sure the school's over there that we went to later. Is that? Oh, what just happened? Am I out? Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I wasn't counting. So after all of it, I think the thing that I took away the most was how happy they are compared to us. We have way more than they have. A lot of them don't even have cars. Like I said, they have cell phones, but a lot of them don't even have houses. And if they do have houses, they're probably living in a compound where the houses are this far apart. We think we live close together. They live like this close together, and there's sewage in between their houses. It smells bad. We don't have that problem here. So all I gotta say is, like, just remember what you have. Be grateful for what God gave you, because I can tell you they are very grateful for what God gave them. Like I said, there's no way that I could, without God's grace, they wouldn't be happy. I don't think the people there, again, they don't have much, but they're just very happy. And I think that's because of God. I honestly can't think of any other way that they would be that happy, because I can tell you that we would not be that happy without God. And we have God, and we have all the stuff we have, just stuff, pointless stuff, really. We don't need it, but we have it anyways, and we're still not happy. Why is that? Maybe we need to work on the God part a little more. So thank you for your time.